Are you ready to listen to this very special Christmas cassette? Good. Pick up the book called Santa Claus Has a Busy Night. There's a lovely picture of Santa Claus creeping out of a bedroom. You can see he's left some presents for the children asleep in their beds. I think he's about to visit some more children. Perhaps it could be you. Now, open the book and look at the first page. You can see a picture of Santa Claus, and I think he's winking at you. Can you read the words in big letters above the picture? That's the title of the story. Santa Claus Has a Busy Night. Listen to this sound. Whenever you hear it, turn the page over. See if you can follow the words as I read the story. Santa Claus had been busy for weeks. He had had hundreds of letters from boys and girls, all telling him what presents they would like for Christmas. He had sorted out the letters and made a long, long list. And then, on the other side, he had written the children's names and where they lived, so that he would know where to go. At last it was Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas. Santa Claus had been even busier that day, filling his sacks and loading them onto his sleigh. He had fed his reindeer, and now they were standing together, ready to pull the heavy load. Rudolph, with his bright red nose, was at the front to lead the others. Then Santa Claus went to get ready. First, he put on his red trousers. Then he put on his red coat. Next, he put on his red hat. At last, he put on his big black boots. By now, all the children would be going to bed. Santa Claus hoped that they would soon be asleep. He had so many places to visit, it was time to go. Up into the sky, through the clouds, and back down over sleeping towns and cities. Down, down to the rooftops. Santa Claus stopped his sleigh. Then Santa Claus took one of his heavy sacks and climbed down the first chimney. He filled the stockings and even some pillowcases for big toys. Every time Santa Claus left a present, he ticked a name off on his list. Some people left Santa Claus a mince pie or a piece of cake. He was very pleased. Climbing up and down chimneys made him feel hungry. Being Santa Claus wasn't an easy job. There were houses where the chimneys were too small and houses with no chimneys at all. Some children were sick and in hospital, and others were staying at a different house. But Santa Claus didn't forget anyone. He climbed hundreds of stairs and tiptoed in and out of dark rooms to leave his presents. And all the time, Rudolph and the other reindeer pulled the sleigh from place to place. Santa Claus went to places which were cold and snowy. He went to places which were wet and windy, and he nearly lost his hat. He flew over high mountains over sandy deserts, and over the sea. On and on through the night sky flew Santa Claus. This time he was on his way to a hot country where it was summer and not winter. Phew! He wished that he could take off his thick red coat and his big furry boots. Christmas Day was going to be a very hot day for these children. At last, Santa Claus reached the last name on his list. He had finished. All the sacks were empty. It would be daylight soon, and the children would be waking up. "Time to go home, Rudolph," he said. When Santa Claus got back home, the first thing he did was to feed his tired reindeer and put them to bed. Then he went into his house, took off his hat, his coat, and his boots, and sat in his big chair by the fire. It was Christmas Day. Santa Claus thought about all the places he'd visited. By now, all the children would be awake. He hoped that they would be pleased with their presents. Some children hadn't been given all the things they'd asked for. Santa Claus couldn't carry any more. Some children would remember to say thank you, and others would forget. Oh, well. And Santa Claus went to sleep. But there's one thing we've forgotten in this story. Who delivers presents to Santa Claus? Did you enjoy that story? Now, before we read the next one, here's a happy Christmas song. If you listen to it a few times, you'll be able to sing along with it. The song is called Christmas Time.
When Santa comes down the chimney stack, you get that Christmas feeling. He brings you gifts in his great big sack. He's got that Christmas feeling. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. The lights shine bright on the Christmas tree and you get that Christmas feeling. There's lots of fun for you and me when we get that Christmas feeling. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. There's holly and there's mistletoe when you get that Christmas feeling. Children playing in the snow, they've got that Christmas feeling. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. There's carol singers all around, they've got that Christmas feeling. Listen to their happy sound. you get that Christmas feeling. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. It's Christmas time for everyone. Christmas everywhere. The bells all ring and the children sing, 'cause Christmas time is here. Christmas time is here. Christmas time is here. Christmas time is here.
Wasn't that fun? Now it's time for the second story. Pick up the book called The First Christmas. Have you got it? On the front is a picture of baby Jesus lying in a manger. Can you see Mary and Joseph? They're standing behind the manger. Now, open up the book. Inside the cover, there's a picture of sheep grazing. Can you count how many sheep there are? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can also see a very bright and colourful rainbow. Isn't it pretty? Now, turn to the next page. There's another picture of the baby Jesus with Mary and Joseph. Can you read the words in large letters above the picture? They say, The First Christmas. And that's the title of this story. Remember, whenever you hear this sound, turn the page over. See if you can follow the words of the story. A long time ago, Mary and Joseph had to leave their home in Nazareth and travel to Bethlehem. It was a long, hard journey, and Mary rode on a donkey while Joseph walked beside her. Mary was going to have a baby. An angel had come to her and told her that she would have a baby boy and that she should name him Jesus. Mary knew that her baby would be born soon. By the time they reached Bethlehem, Mary and Joseph were very tired and they needed to find a place to sleep. But the town was full of people, and everywhere they went, they were told that there was no room for them. Then one innkeeper saw how tired Joseph and Mary were, and he remembered that he had a stable which was warm and dry. He said that they could sleep there. Joseph made a bed of hay for Mary. The donkey and an ox watched over her. That night, Mary's baby was born. They wrapped the baby Jesus in warm clothes and laid him in a manger, where hay had been put for the animals. On a hillside near Bethlehem, some shepherds were watching over their sheep through the night. Suddenly, there was a bright light, and angels came to them. One angel said, "Don't be afraid. Jesus has been born, and you will find him in a stable in Bethlehem." The shepherds were very happy at the good news and went to Bethlehem to find the stable. When they got there, they saw the baby Jesus lying in the manger. Joseph and Mary were watching over him. Far away in the east, a bright new star appeared in the sky. 3 wise men saw the star, and they knew that it was to tell them that a new baby king had been born. Night after night, they rode on their camels and followed the star until it finally stopped over the stable where Jesus had been born. The 3 wise men went into the stable and saw their baby king. They gave him presents of gold, frankincense, and myrrh before they left to go back to their own land. And that's the story of Christmas. Did you like it? Good. Now, listen to this music, and when the music ends, turn the cassette over. On the other side of the cassette are some beautiful Christmas carols. If you know any of them, join in and sing along. I do hope that you and all your family and friends have a very happy Christmas. Happy Christmas!